Would you like to know how you can normalize extremely high blood sugar levels in just a few short weeks by eating your favorite carbs? Yep, you could actually eat fresh fruit and pasta and bread, rice and muffins, and even cookies. And by the way, don't miss the striking testimony of one of my patients who actually suffered with diabetes for years and it got so out of control that his blood sugar levels went up to over 500. Yet in just a few short weeks, it went below to 110. And he ate all of his favorite carbs as well. That's right. And I'm going to share with you how you can do the same. You can lower your blood sugar levels by eating your favorite carbs. You don't have to fear carbs. The right carbs can heal your body, restore insulin sensitivity, and fuel your gut bacteria in ways that will lower blood sugar levels dramatically. But before I share the way to lower your blood sugar levels, eating your favorite carbs, I want to start off with the big lie that's being pushed all over the internet. They're telling us that all carbohydrates are bad. Influencers love to tell you to ditch the carbs and to live on a high protein, high saturated fat meals every day to stabilize your blood sugar. Now, you can actually do that. Sure, if you stop eating the refined carbs and sugar loaded diets with average Americans eating and eat a high protein diet, while your blood sugar will drop in the short term, that doesn't mean you're going to be healing your body. Here's the real truth: refined carbohydrates, white sugar, processed cereals, soda, pastries, and they're all going to spike your blood sugar and cause inflammation. But lumping all carbs into that category is a big lie and it's bad science because whole food carbohydrates like fresh fruits and vegetables and beans and legumes and whole grain bread and pasta, they do exactly the opposite. They stabilize your blood sugar over the long haul. And it even gets better. When you eat whole food carbohydrates, your gut bacteria, well, they're going to feed on the fiber and they're going to eat that resistant starch and they're going to produce compounds called short chain fatty acids like butyrate that's going to lower inflammation, restore insulin sensitivity, and protect the pancreas. And that means that your body's going to be able to handle blood sugar much, much better. There was a study back in the Lancet Medical Journal back in 2019. It's what we call a meta analysis, and that's several studies lumped into one. And they found that people who eat high fiber whole food carbs, well, they cut their risk for type 2 diabetes by up to 30%. And another study in the Diabetes Care Journal back in 2007, well, they show that diets rich in whole grains improve long term blood sugar control dramatically. Now, I want you to think about this. There are cultures all over the world who've been eating carbohydrate rich diets for thousands of years. While in Asia, they eat rice. In the Mediterranean, they eat bread and pasta. And in the blue zones where people live into their 90s and 100s without diabetes, they eat beans and legumes and they eat whole food grains and they eat vegetables and fruit. And listen to this: less than 1% of their population develops diabetes when they stick to their blue zone family's diet and lifestyle. Now, compare that to our carb eating culture where we're eating all these refined carbohydrates, where diabetes is exploding. Clearly, the problem's not carbs, my friends. It's processed junk foods and animal based high fat diets that clog up the insulin receptors. Now, I want to talk for a minute about the dangers of ketones because there's a big lie out there about the ketone solution, the keto diet solution. The danger of ketones is long term, is absolutely scientifically been proven. Yeah, cutting out carbs and eating high protein forces your body to burn ketones for energy. And at first, the blood sugar levels drop, but in the long term, it comes with a big price. Relying on ketones stresses your kidneys and your liver and deprives your gut microbes of the fiber they need to produce the healing compounds that are going to help to heal the diabetes. Without fiber rich carbohydrates, your gut bacteria starve and inflammation skyrockets, and your risk for heart disease and kidney disease and an early death goes really up dramatically. The Journal of the American College of Cardiology back in 2021, well, they reported that the low carb, high animal fat diets increase the risk for premature death despite the short term blood sugar control. Think of it this way: your body was designed to run on glucose from healthy carbs, not ketones, by starving your body and giving it protein instead of what it really wants, which is complex carbohydrates. That's why every long lived population on Earth thrives on carbohydrates, not on bacon and butter alone. They eat small quantities of those animal proteins, not like high protein diets. So, how do you normalize extremely high blood sugar levels in just weeks? Well, you start by adding the right carbs. And here are a few steps that you can do. First, you need to ditch the refined carbohydrates like the white bread and the white rice and the processed sugar that are loaded in most foods that most Americans are eating, and replace them with whole food carbohydrates. Trade in the white bread for sprouted whole grain bread like Ezekiel bread, and switch from white rice to brown rice or wild rice. And load up on beans and legumes and lentils and black beans and chickpeas. All these foods stabilize the blood sugar better than almost any other foods on the planet. And enjoy fresh fruit. Yeah, even fresh fruit. The fiber in apples and berries and pears and oranges, they keep the blood sugar levels normal and steady. You need to eat the carbs as close to nature as you can. The closer it looks like foods in nature and the way nature grew it, the better your body's going to be able to handle it. Patients who follow this plan have watched their blood sugar normalize in just weeks without starving, without fearing food, and without wrecking their metabolism. Now, I want you to read the striking testimony of one of my patients who lowered his blood sugar levels from over 500 to less than 110 in just a few short weeks. My friend, the next time you hear someone say carbs are the enemy, remember this: that carbs have been humanity's staple food for thousands of years. And diabetes has only exploded in the recent past 4 or 5 decades after the refined carbohydrates and processed foods and the increased consumption of animal fats and processed junk food took over our diets. And this is the problem. It's not carbohydrates. Whole food carbohydrates are your friend. Your body and your gut bacteria were designed to thrive on delicious whole food carbs. And you can normalize your blood sugar levels by eating foods that you love, like fruit and rice and pasta and bread and muffins and cookies, as long as they're made from whole, unprocessed grains that are not loaded with sugar. Learn to use sweeteners like monk fruit and use medjool dates as a sweetener in your smoothies and for baking. You got to stop fearing carbs and start healing your body and take control of your health again the way nature intended. So, my friends, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And be sure to take advantage of our health support community, the Gut 911 Prescription. This community is people just like you who are supporting each other and learning from me and taking advantage of all the resources I provide in there for free. Now, it's only free for the first 100 people who join. After that, it's going to be a paid subscription. So until next time, my friends, ciao for now, and here's to your health.